Thanks, listeners. It is Tuesday, and it's time to catch back up with our Elko City manager, Jan Baum, in advance of this afternoon's regular meeting. Thank you for listening to our program today, all about the city of Elko. Thank you, Jan, for being on the program.
And thank you for having me. I always look forward to it, and I'm excited to talk about the city of Elko.
That's right. You've got a lot on the agenda today, and so we'll spend time diving into that. We do want to start off, though, with news of a new nonprofit that is going to be meeting at the Elko Convention Center next Thursday. Jan, this is a very important nonprofit of which you've helped to develop because it is about sustaining and expanding, creating more accessibility to commercial air service.
Absolutely. Thank you. So the nonprofit is called the Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada, or FANN. So we've worked really hard in the last year to get this organization started up, and exactly that's what it's all about, is maintaining and hopefully expanding accessible commercial air service to the Elko Regional Airport. And, commercial air service is important not just for the city of Elko. It is a regional asset, and not just Elko County, but we have a lot of passengers that come in and go out that either work for or leisure, not only in Elko County, but in Lander County, Eureka County. We have a pretty big catchment area, and so hopefully we get a lot of input. And it seems every time we talk at another meeting, we've been at Lander County, we've been at Elko County and ECBA and the city of Elko, and every time we present it, I feel we get more input and different reasons that the airport is important to people. So I think it'll be a great opportunity for us to educate a little bit about what we're all about, and a great opportunity for the public to give input on why commercial air service is important to them.
So this sentence is really compelling, Jan. It's right here on the flyer. It says, Elko Regional Airport is in jeopardy of losing commercial air service.
Yeah, so we've been going through this for about 3 years now, and it started a little bit probably in 2021 after the COVID pandemic. It's just been a snowball effect, let's say it that way. And one of the biggest factors is there's not a lot of pilots out there. There is a shortage of pilots, and so when there's a shortage of pilots, they all tend to go towards the bigger airlines, of course. And so then regional airlines have fewer pilots, and a lot of regional airports actually lost their commercial air service. And we were very fortunate to keep ours, but it has cost a lot of money to keep the commercial air service. And so the city of Elko was able to pay some of the minimum revenue guarantee to keep the regional airline coming to the city of Elko or the Elko Regional Airport through some of the money freed up through the COVID-19 pandemic, but that just is not sustainable for the city of Elko. And so that is why we are a little in jeopardy of losing a commercial air service, because if we can't continue to pay that minimum revenue guarantee, which we call an MRG, then SkyWest will not come any longer. They were called a risk market, and the reason that we are a risk market is because the regional airlines are at risk by coming to our regional airport, because they are at risk of losing money. And so we have to make sure that they don't lose money by servicing our community. So there's a computation to it, and everything based on the number of passengers and the flight time and the cost of fuel and a lot of different things that go into that MRG calculation. But the more people that fly, that is the biggest key. The more people that fly, the more full the planes are, the higher the load factor it's called, the less the MRG is. So anyway, there's a lot of education to go on, and we're hoping that we can have an open forum. People can come visit about what their needs are, what their wants are, and where we can go forward with the Flight Alliance and the public and the private.
Thank you, Jan, for that important explanation. Again, moving forward with the Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada, and the meeting is Thursday, August 22nd, 4 p.m. in the Turquoise Room at the Convention Center, right?
Thank you. That's exactly right. And come one, come all. If you're interested in commercial air service or impacted by commercial air service, please feel free to come. We value all input. The way we look at it is we're hoping it's a partnership of private and public entities coming together for one purpose.
Right. And so this business, civic groups, any interested parties, anybody who obviously relies on the airline service, it's important to note that the city of Elko stepped up with that initial subsidy. Jan, you've been able to expand that financial support recently, which is also crucial. So we're not just, Elko City taxpayers aren't just bearing the burden, but it's about $1 million a year, depending on how full the flights are, right?
Absolutely. So last year, fiscal year, it actually was a little bit over, I believe 1.2, between 1.2 and 1.3 million, which is a lot of money. But like you said, the more people that fly, the less the MRG. And it is a partnership with Elko County, has really stepped up to the plate. They're just great partners. Lander County has stepped up to the plate as well. And then the city of Elko. The city of Elko has designated a portion of the room tax to go to the Flight Alliance, which will help us sustain through time, but it won't be enough to pay the entire MRG. So we have these partners, and we're very excited about that.
Well, thank you, Jan, again for the reminder. We'll keep promoting that meeting. Again, it's very important, and it's just the first of several sessions. There is at least one open board seat, so if anybody interested would like to find out about sitting on that board and the contributions you can make to that, get in touch with Jan.
Absolutely, and that will be something we touch on in the meeting. The current board is really people that are interested and really committed to the Flight Alliance and getting it going and getting it off the ground. Going forward, I'm sure the dynamics of the board will change. We would like more private industry leaders coming to the board because we need more input, and we'll definitely welcome that.
Thank you, Jan. Jan Baum is our Elko City Manager, and we were talking about the Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada and their meeting on Thursday, August 22nd. So now we'll veer back on the agenda. There are quite a few exciting developments on the agenda today, Jan, for the 4 o'clock meeting.
Right. It's a full agenda. That usually happens. So usually we have a meeting every 2 weeks, and we got a free week in between meetings. But usually when that happens, the agenda grows. So it'll be good to get some business taken care of.
It'll be nice to recognize Dr. David Hogel. He's retiring from the Elko Clinic and is, in fact, relocating, he and his wife, Jan King. And they have been so beloved in our community for decades. And so we wish them well, but it will be a chance to honor them tonight.
Absolutely. Dr. Hogel, you know very well, he is just a staple in our community and so valued and so appreciated. I'm sure there are a lot of people in our community going through a little anxiety with having him leave, but it's great for him and his family, and we wish him well and thank him for his service for all of these years.
Mayor Reese Keener is going to recognize the month of September as Suicide Prevention Month with a proclamation today.
Yes, actually, we're going to table that until next meeting. We've had a request for them to present next meeting, and that didn't come in until obviously the agenda was posted. But that is just absolutely not a problem. We'll be so happy to have Elko County Suicide come and do present them with a resolution.
Yes, we'll look forward to helping them too. They have a busy month of September coming up with the Walk in Memory, Walk for Hope. And so you're right, Jan, that'll be plenty of time for that. Community Development will present a public nuisance. They have a presentation about property at 440 Grant Street, the Shady Elms Mobile Home Park. And boy, it's anything but a park. It really resembles a dump site. It's so sad to think that people are actually having to live in that park, Jan.
Absolutely. And this has been going on for a while, and Ralph Negron will give a presentation on the nuisance and why the city of Elko believes that it is a nuisance. This will be a non-action item. It is for information only to give council, an update and some information on what's going on over at that address. There have been several communications with the owner, and that have not been acted on. So we are hopeful that the owner of the park will begin cleanup. And actually, just last week, there were some things that were cleaned up, which was a very positive step towards getting the entire park cleaned up and safe for the residents. And, it's a safety issue, not only living there and being in the filth and things like that, but also a safety issue because there is a lot of public safety issues, and the police visit that address us on a regular basis. And so there are many concerns from the city having to do with this address, and so it'll be a good communication with council, and hopefully it'll be the first step towards getting it cleaned up.
All right, Jen, thank you for the update there. Also on the agenda, introducing new employees with the city, and this is always a treat. I know I got to meet Sarah. She's your city clerk technician in the clerk's office, and she just seems wonderful, so that's exciting.
Absolutely, yes. She's got about 2 weeks under her belt, and we're so excited to have her. And I am not going to try to pronounce her last name. We call her Sarah Kay, and so wonderful. And then Derek started with the facility department about a week and a half ago, and we're Justin's so excited to have him. And then Alfredo is an equipment operator one, which is with the street department, and they don't only just operate equipment. Those guys are busy. I'm sure that many people have seen all of the street work going on in the last 2 weeks. A lot of micro going on, and they're a busy group of people. So the city itself is we're busy, and summertime is a busy time. And so we're excited to have these 3 vacancies filled, and thankful to our HR department for assisting us in getting these positions filled.
I'm glad you mentioned all the street work, Jan, because someone has asked me to ask the city, will the streets eventually be striped again?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, good.
Absolutely. It would be unsafe not to have them striped. Yes. So the contractor that we contracted to do all of the micro, I believe they're going to come in, get all of the micro laid, and then we'll start painting the stripes. So absolutely, we'll get on to that.
Yep. In the meantime, there's been a bit of careening, so just be careful. I'm one of those. So where's the lane?
Right.
Yeah. So that's coming.
But it'll be so nice to have it done though. Idaho Street just looks amazing, and it'll just be so helpful.
Yeah, it feels great too, driving on that nice smooth surface. And then on to other human resource issues, a bit of tweaking in the description, the position description for the city engineer. You've had some difficulty filling that spot.
Yes. So Bob Tebow was our prior city civil engineer, and he went on to a different endeavor, has his own business now, which is amazing for him. And we've had that position open since probably January, and just not had a lot of luck with the civil engineer. So we also since for over a year and a half, we have not filled the public works position. And so what we came together on a possible reorganization for the city of Elko org structure was to try to fill the city engineer position. So this is a position that used to be with the city, hasn't been filled since I believe it was 2006 when it was last filled. And so what we're trying to do is fill that city engineer position with somebody that has some supervisory experience and can also act as the public works director. And so I think it'd be a really exciting position. And so we're looking forward to posting that and see how that works out.
All right. So that'll be up for discussion by the city council when they meet in regular session. So, and that coincides with, I believe it's okay to say, because I know our mayor, Reese Keener, announced during Government Affairs Committee at the Chamber of Commerce meeting yesterday that Scott Wilkinson is in fact retiring in a few months.
Oh, he is. Yeah. So I'm very happy for him. But yes, so he has given us a date of probably June of 2025. And that seems like a long ways away, but it is not. And he has a lot of projects going currently. And we just have so many public works projects going on. And he just has a plethora of knowledge. Just every day I try to soak in as much of his knowledge as possible because I know he is going to retire, which I am so excited for him and Kim. But we need to, try to get some of these positions filled so that we can have other people benefiting from his knowledge before he exits. So yeah, that'll be great. And then his wife, Kim, will be retiring in September. So I'm, very excited for both of them.
Wow, Kim's exiting earlier. By the way, Scott and Kim, I think, worked independently of one another the entire time they were employed by the city, and they were both, and I believe they met at the city too. So that's kind of a nice.
I believe so. That was
nice
before
love
I
story.
got
Yes.
there, but yeah, very nice and two very kind people,
Yes.
and we're very fortunate to have both of them. And so the second position description that's on here is for the administrative assistant position, and we want to get that position description buttoned up and summarized before we post that position for Kim's opening. So
Because that's your assistant.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
So we definitely will miss her, and so thankful to have had her through my transition and beginning year. But again, very excited for her to move on to being retired, and it'll be a great new chapter for both of them.
Absolutely. That's what we're meant to do, is to have these, as you said, new chapters so that we can enjoy and do different things. So that's exciting for both Kim Wilkinson and for Scott Wilkinson. But that will mean changes at City Hall, but opportunities for other people too. So now is the time. We'll talk more about that too with our agenda that we're going over today. Just want to make sure we're not missing anything. Oh, there is some cool news about possibly awarding some more concrete work for the city sports complex.
Yeah, absolutely. So the sports complex currently does not have a lot of all of the cement that was meant to go in between the fields and where the seating is and the concession stands. And so this was an item that was actually, I think, cut out of the initial project because of the amount of money that it does cost. It is a large project. It'll be about $1.5 million, which made me, but it is. And you know what? Once we have that done, that project will be much more accessible. It'll be just such an amazing property for the city of Elko, and, you know, for adult softball, for youth sports, and you know, just for the whole community. So it'll be nice to have that buttoned up and finished. So we really look forward to having that finished.
All right. And certainly that is always been designed to be completed in phases. So this is just yet another phase of the project. Also on the agenda for today's city council meeting that starts at 4:00, possibly awarding a contract for a public works project for the 14th Street storm drain replacement. And often this is a lot more complicated than it looks because there's a lot underground, right?
Absolutely. There were some problems there this spring when, of course, the runoff. And so the water that comes through the college and around the fairgrounds goes under 14th Street. And it is apparent that there are some water issues under 14th Street because the street is crackling quite a bit. And so this is a project that we absolutely need to get finished. And we're excited that that was put into the budget, and it came in very close to budget. And I think we can make it work and get that fixed properly.
All right, Jen. And then also under new business, just moving ahead a little bit in the interest of time, there is a possible initiation of the conveyance of city property at Ruby Vista Drive in Delaware. That's out near the National Weather Service. And it's just over 5.5 acres. And this is part of the plan, the grand plan for Boys and Girls Clubs to build a livestock arena in that area. It's adjacent to some to some school district managed property, I think, that they have leased from the BLM. They need considerably more than this 5.6 acres, Jan, but it's a start.
Yes, I believe that, really that's what this is a start to this process. We are asking council, back in June, council approved reserving that parcel, just, taking it off of the land that is available for sale and reserving that while there was more investigation or research going into this project. And so the Boys and Girls Club will be there, I believe, the Rusty Bar, I believe, will be there with a presentation. And then council, if they approve this, will move forward to creating a contract to start the conveyance of this land. And we believe that this conveyance will include reversionary clauses. And what those are is, if the event center is not built, then the land will revert back to the city of Elko. And, they'll have some reversionary clauses. It'll be subject to a traffic study. subject to the Boys and Girls Club successfully negotiating, additional acreage, like you were saying, that BLM acreage there that the Elko County School District leases. I believe that land will be, it'll have to be part of the project. Our 5.6 acres is not near enough, I wouldn't think, for the project, at least from what I have heard about it. And so anyway, there are a few things that it'll be contingent upon. And so this will start the conveyance process. This is not the actual conveyance. It will be, I believe what will happen is council, if they agree to do this, they will direct staff to, like I said, start that contract. And then we will bring back at a future date a contract for consideration by the council. And it'll include some of these conditions and reversionary clauses.
Well, thanks for clearing all that up, Jan. Again, it does contain several conditions. No construction would begin until the necessary funding is secured. The Boys and Girls Clubs did get that big boost with an unprecedented $15 million donation from the Elko County Commission during last week's meeting. And Kittredge Canyon residents should also be happy to hear that the traffic study is also required upon completion of the design. The Boys and Girls Clubs has already committed $1 million of the $15 million toward design. So that's when all these pieces can start falling into place, because they certainly don't want to build something that Kittredge Canyon residents are unhappy with either.
Absolutely. I don't think, it needs to be vetted, I would say, is maybe the best word, but there needs to be a feasibility study. It needs to be vetted. We need to make sure that this is the correct location. So it'll be interesting to see how the process goes, but I do believe that, like you said, the county, a portion of that money needed to be freed up to go through the feasibility or the design process and the traffic study and all of that, or we would never know if this was the correct area for the event center or not. And I also believe that I would think anyway that if there are other donors, it will help the process if the land has been conveyed, so they know there is commitment. So, but like I said, if the land is conveyed, there will be a contract to where there are conditions and reversionary clauses.
Thanks, Jan, for again explaining all that. It is important to note that this is proposed, and that is still within Elko City limits, right? Even though it's on the edge of town.
Yes, it is on the edge, but it is within the city limits.
All right. So moving on to yet another project, and I look at all the stuff today. Like I said, there's a ton of stuff today. A memorandum of understanding. Again, this is getting another big project closer to some actual groundwork. Department of Wildlife in the city to develop, maintain, manage a public fishery and yet another park within the city of Elko.
Yes, this is an exciting, I like this project because I like to fish, but I think there are a lot of children and a lot of people in general who are out there that maybe don't have the opportunity to drive, 30, 40 minutes or an hour to go fish somewhere. And so what a great opportunity for the city of Elko and Elko County to have, a little fishing pond in our city and available and accessible for the public to easily access. And so I'm hoping that this moves along, and once it does, it will, of course, there'll be some cost to the city. We have, I believe part of this is that the city will, maintain the restrooms and the grass park area around the fishery, but the fishery itself will be the responsibility of NDOW. And this will just be a collaboration, I believe, of a lot of different entities. I'm sure the county, I believe, gave them the water rights. So anyway, it'll be a great project, and really look forward to seeing that come through.
That'll be wonderful. Sharps access just off the 12th Street Bridge.
Yes,
that's the one. And it's another example of a great collaboration in our community to do something nice, as you said, that's low impact, free of charge for families, and it will provide educational opportunities. And so, I know we'll be talking more about that. James Wiley is also excited about it, our Parks and Rec director.
He definitely is. And I know it'll take years, but we're getting closer, I believe that.
Getting the ball rolling. Let's see. Oh, and then another project, which we'll will likely take years, but at least this is the feasibility study if the City Council approves preliminary design and site selection for a new fire station.
Yes, so this is a big project for us, and a lot of what started this project or this thought was the focus planning study at the airport, and the possibility that if the FAA was ever to tell us that or instruct the airport to or the city of Elko to move the fire station. And so we need to get a feasibility study for where that fire station would need to be, what exactly it would include. And so this will be our first step. And council did approve this in the budget. And so I don't think it'll be a big surprise to them. I think they'll probably definitely have some questions.
All right. Among the analysis that will be conducted by the independent company, that is CGA Architects and Planners, they're going to be looking at one site that's city-owned. That's the parcel on Ruby Vista Drive. I believe it's across from the tribal colony area.
Yes.
And that is bordered by other city-owned lots. The second site would yet to be determined because I don't think the city has one yet. But
we don't. We're not really sure what that other site selection would be, but I think it'll be good to have a couple different sites to compare to. And so we're hoping that we'll find another idea. We've been visiting with the Elko city planner about some different ideas. So we're hoping we'll come up with another idea for them to analyze during this feasibility study.
Great. So yet something else to put on to look forward to. The analysis will include response times, the access to the site, traffic control, again, building placement, and all the other aspects. So that'll be kind of a fun thing to look forward to. New fire station, maybe. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right,
yeah, they're
Jen.
always, such nice facilities.
So then moving on to something that it is a big change, and these already have approval from the City Planning Commission. So now they're just moving to the council for a stamp of approval, right?
Absolutely.
So one is to adopt a change in zoning, and are these adjacent properties?
They're
the next
close
two?
to one another,
Okay,
yes. They are
okay.
close to one another. They're not right beside each other, but they're very close.
So there's about 3 acres and then 11 acres. And the reason that because we don't always talk about these zoning changes, I mean, there aren't a lot of large parcels, I guess, maybe left in the city or that are considered for development, but this one would really change things a lot. This is the parcel across from the Peace Park and the Committee Against Domestic Violence, the Harbor House. This is where the Elko Institute for Academic Achievement was going to build their new school, but now it's being looked at for sort of a little strip mall. There's a gas station, a car wash, some storage units, a couple of big office spaces. I think I saw here 391 parking spaces, so that whole area would be turned into a little mini shopping or retail plaza.
Yes, we visited a lot about this at the Planning Commission meeting last week. So this is just the first step to it. There'll be a development meeting about the actual shopping center, but that's very true. There's a developer that is not local that is very interested in that piece of property and developing it, and it's a concept that is a little different to Elko, but they sit around 400 homes around that parcel, and so instead of having to get in your car and drive to the grocery store, you just walk to the grocery store, grab something, or walk to the coffee shop, walk to the restaurant, different things like that. And so it's kind of a neighborhood little community shopping center, I think, is the concept behind it. I believe they've done a few other ones like this, and they mentioned that in the Planning Commission meeting. So it was a very interesting meeting. And then part of this is that before the school was going to go on this parcel, it was commercial. It was already zoned commercial. And in order to have a school there, they had to change the zoning to PQP, which is public, quasi-public. So really, it's just reverting back to commercial, which is what it was previously.
All right. So that will in the process of this, where it comes before council, are they just asked to give final approval? Is that what happens today, Jan? Or
yes. So today is just the final approval of the zoning change, and then I believe the development and the approval or not approval of the concept of the shopping center will, I believe, come to the Planning Commission first, and then if they approve and move forward, then it will move to the council.
all right. So more to come on that, and we can remind mind, listeners. Again, some people might really appreciate having something, the walkability of a little center like that in their neighborhood, as you said, so close by.
And very close to the college too, right? And all the
Absolutely.
student housing, and so a great little location for those residents to be able to walk to the store or to coffee or to a restaurant and pick up what they need.
Yeah, if something well done, I think the neighborhood might actually really appreciate that, Jan.
Yeah. I know there are some concerns. Obviously, there are always concerns, and there was a lot of education at that planning commission going on, so I'm hoping that helped with some of the concerns, but we'll see.
All right, Jan, thank you so much. Anything else before we send you on your way today? I know we covered a ton, didn't we?
We did cover a lot. Yeah, I felt like I was jabbering a little bit, but we have a lot on the agenda, and I appreciate you mentioning FANN, and we'll talk about that again next week.
Yes, and again, congratulations, Elko Institute for Academic Achievement.
Yes, big day today, and the grand opening, and what an amazing facility, and very excited for them to get that going.
And it's so nice to see the power of some of Elko's most influential people coming together to make something like that happen. We heard a lot of great stories today, Jan, about how, when people come together to support a common cause. One thing that was said that I thought was interesting is one of the investors said that they appreciated having a private school in Elko. It's not a private school. It's a public school.
Absolutely.
So it's
an alternative for sure.
It is. And so there'll be more of that to come, I'm sure, in the future. But important to note that enrollment is open and it is a public school. They have 400 students starting in the fall, 19 classrooms, but they have a wait list of 486 students.
Wow, so definitely a need in our community, and it's great that they're fulfilling part of that need.
Thanks, Jan. Jan Baum is our city manager. Thank you, listeners, for joining us for Elko Live today.